The Instagram generation is really, it's really toxic. It is toxic. And I'm part of it because I am part of Instagram as well. So I'm not saying this in a judgmental way. I'm saying it from an experienced way. It is very toxic. But this is why I'm so big on education. When, praise be to God, and this is not me trying to say, but when people say nice comments about appearance and stuff like that, it goes like this to me. I don't care for it. But because I've built something else that I'm proud of, which is my brain. And as a result, I'm not dependent. I'm like, but I've worked on something beyond my looks. I don't compare myself on people on looks. I don't compare myself at all because I know what I have, all praise be to God, is me, is my education, it's my way of speaking, and it's also my personality and stuff. So, I mean, the thing is, people only see the educated side online, but that's even that, I don't really rate that about myself. If you know me as a person, I'm like quite fun and I'm a good friend and all these things. So even my friends didn't even know I had all this knowledge because that's not why they attached to me. So because I feel like I've got such a multifaceted personality, the looks part of stuff, it doesn't feel like a real compliment. It goes over my head. But if you say something that is more linked to something that's unique about me, that's when I feel flattered. And I think if more women worked on those things, they would feel less pressure to be the prettiest girl in the room. I'm really bad with compliments. I really don't. I had to put a post out on Instagram once and I was like, please don't, guys, I really appreciate it, but don't give me I just don't like it. It doesn't sit well with me. I don't know why. It's probably my own maybe I need to analyze where that comes from. But yeah, that's why I would just say that the filter generation and this generation, which I'm not avoiding myself, I'm guilty of myself, but the focus on appearance comes when you don't focus on other aspects of your being. And then the bad thing about focusing on your appearance is the only thing we can guarantee will go. Everything else will only develop. But your looks is the only thing I can guarantee you will go. So why focus on that? Focus on the things that are going to live forever. And that is your mentality, it's your conduct, it's your treatment of others, so on and so forth. So those are things. If once you work on those, God willing, you'll be less focused on being the prettiest girl or looking a certain way, inshallah. Bullying by women. It started even in my home and family and stuff. I've had a really, really rough ride with women my whole life. Really rough ride. And it's good and bad. The good thing from it is I'm not as emotionally affected by what they have to say, and I don't crave their acceptance. I don't judge, but one thing, and I've become really good at selecting women in my life, but one thing I always say is choose female friends. I always say 2 women can be best friends until a man is involved. A man is what creates jealousy between women. It's not a man's fault before the men go, it's just how we're programmed. What happens is you can have 2 best friends, but the moment they start liking the same man, they're jealous of each other. You can have sisters. The moment that one man and it's really what happens, what causes jealousy is this is why 2 married women that are happily married tend not to be jealous of each other. Or 2 people in happy relationships. I always say, my friends tend to be happily married. I always have female friends that are happily married or happy in their relationship. When you have women, when it is jealousy, it's usually because they're competing over what they believe is a scarce resource. And men, they believe that if you get the man, I can't get the man. And then the jealousy starts. But when you remove men from the equation, women can get on really well. So I think I always select friends that are just genuinely happy. They're happy as people, but it does help when they're in happy relationships. They're not competing. They are silent when things are good for you. When things are going good, they're a bit more silent. And when things are going bad, they're present. But when it's not so much about who's there for you when things are bad, because sometimes people just like to hear gossip and like to know. It's when things are going good for you, they're silent. Or the energy shifts and stuff like that. So I would say how they respond when things are going good in your life. And you can't fake that. So if you tell a girl that you're pregnant and she goes a bit quiet, or you're getting married, she goes a bit quiet, you can't fake those responses. So whereas you can fake it, I'm so sorry you're going through a divorce, you can fake that. But you can't fake your visceral reaction when things are going good for people. And when people are saying good things about you, how does that person respond? Do they join in with the good comments or do they go quiet? And I would say that's my number one advice is how do people respond when good things are happening for you? And it's not limited to friends. It could be family as well. And it's not limited to women. It could be men as well. I had men when I started my Instagram, and I had some male friends who were just genuinely jealous. And I'm like, why are you jealous? What? I don't know, of the notoriety or something like that. Not that there's any notoriety, it's just followers. It's not that deep. But I remember a male friend of mine getting a bit bitchy with me and being like, oh, you know, you're always out for dinners in Dubai and you're always doing this, this, and just that jealousy. And I don't think it's gendered, but it's usually more amongst the same gender. And men get jealous of other men as well. They just express it differently.
Yeah,
women were just more known for it and obvious about it. But men will joke about the jealousy. They'll be like, even when I was a teacher, I used to observe this a lot in students with men with jealous boys when they compete with each other. They'd be like, you're so dumb, you got a D, I got a C. They're in competition with each other, but they make a joke out of it. Whereas women, they're in silent competition. Ooh, my favorite quote is, be grateful and I will give you more. And that's from God in the